The most powerful men in society aren't found amidst crowds. Instead, they are those who have learned to embrace their fundamental aloneness. This idea might contradict everything American culture has instilled in you. After all, isn't success typically measured by your network, your followers, your team? From childhood, we're taught that popularity equates to worth, that leadership means having people rally behind you, and that the American dream itself is founded on family, community, and strong connections. Yet, much like a solitary oak that grows stronger by standing alone against the elements, there exists a particular kind of man who discovers his power precisely in his willingness to walk his unique path in solitude. Consider nature. Do you ever notice the eagle soaring high above the mountains? Does it fly in formation like geese do? No. The most majestic creatures often navigate life alone. The mighty sequoia doesn't cluster for protection. Instead, it rises singularly toward the sky, strengthening itself through its isolation. What if what we term loneliness in our hyper-connected American society is in fact a profound misunderstanding of solitude's true purpose? What if the men who appear chosen, those gifted with unusual insight, creativity, or leadership, aren't suffering in their aloneness, but have instead unearthed something essential about existence that eludes those perpetually caught in the hamster wheel of social validation? Have you ever observed how desperately people in suburban America cram their calendars, schedule playdates, join clubs, and cultivate busy social media presences, all while feeling an increasing emptiness within? Have you pondered why, despite being more connected than any civilization in history, Americans report record levels of loneliness? Here lies the paradox that most will likely never grasp. These chosen men walk alone, not because they are broken or deficient, but because they've transcended the illusion that companionship can fill an internal void. They've discovered that true connection with others can only emerge after a genuine connection with oneself. The man who cannot comfortably be alone cannot truly be present with others. He can only use others as a means to escape himself. In corporate America, we celebrate the self-made man, while simultaneously demanding his conformity to team dynamics. We praise the entrepreneur's independence, yet expect him to maintain an active LinkedIn presence and network obsessively. This inherent contradiction reveals our cultural confusion regarding the relationship between success and solitude. The chosen man walks alone not because he is antisocial, but because he has ceased outsourcing his self-worth to the fleeting opinions of the crowd. Much like the vital space between musical notes that makes a symphony possible, his solitude is not empty. It is in fact pregnant with possibility, authenticity, and truth. This perspective is challenging to embrace in a culture where squad goals and tribe have evolved into marketable concepts, where being alone on a Friday night is often seen as a personal failure rather than a potential sanctuary. From high school cafeterias to office happy hours, American social life often demands constant participation, treating solitude as a condition to be cured rather than a valuable capacity to be cultivated. What if the men who walk alone have simply ceased playing a game they realized was unwinnable? What if they've discovered that the relentless race for social capital is just another iteration of the rat race, an endless striving that ultimately leads nowhere of lasting value? The truth rarely spoken is that these men haven't chosen loneliness, they've chosen authenticity. They haven't rejected connection itself, rather, they've rejected connections built on falsehood, mere convenience, or mutual distraction. They've stopped using relationships as mirrors to validate their existence and have instead begun experiencing them as windows into something far larger than themselves. Have you ever found yourself surrounded by people yet feeling utterly alone? Have you noticed how your most profound insights often emerge not amidst the noise of the crowd, but in moments of solitary reflection? Feel free to comment below and share your own experiences with finding meaning in solitude versus society. To truly understand why chosen men walk alone, we must first examine the cage that most men inhabit, a a cage built from social expectations, cultural conditioning, and the deeply rooted American mythology surrounding manhood and success. From the moment a boy enters school in America, he begins to learn that social hierarchy often matters more than self-knowledge. The popular boys quickly become the template, the measuring stick, while the corporate ladder later replaces the playground pecking order: be accepted, belong, conform, connect. Men are, sadly, taught to fear isolation more than inauthenticity. Like trees in an overgrown forest desperately competing for sunlight, most men spend their lives stretching toward external validation, leaving their roots shallow and their trunks weak. They tend to grow in whatever direction offers social approval, often becoming distorted versions of their potential selves. They mistakenly conflate the forest, their social context, with the totality of existence. American men, in particular, face a unique predicament. Our culture simultaneously glorifies rugged individualism, celebrating the cowboy, the self-made man, the maverick, while paradoxically enforcing strict codes of belonging through sports culture, fraternity life, corporate team building, and even boys' nights out. We tell our young men to be themselves, even as we show them 1,000 ways they'll be rejected if that self doesn't precisely conform to expectations. Close your eyes for a moment and truly feel the weight of these contradictions. Sense how utterly exhausting it is to perpetually maintain the facade of connection while simultaneously suppressing your authentic impulses. Feel the constant, low-grade anxiety of wondering if you're truly man enough by American standards, successful enough, social enough, connected enough. The chosen man walks alone because he has seen through this profound contradiction. Like a wave that intuitively realizes it is, in essence, the entire ocean, he has recognized that true selfhood requires no constant social validation. He has ceased fighting the current of his own nature, learning instead to flow with it, even when it carries him away from the school of fish, all swimming in the socially approved direction. Consider how American culture often treats solitude with suspicion. A man dining alone at a restaurant, attending a movie by himself, or taking a solitary vacation is typically viewed with curiosity or pity. Where are his friends, people often wonder. What's wrong with him? The underlying assumption is rarely that he might simply be enjoying his own company, or that he could be finding richness in an undiluted personal experience. This suspicion of solitude, in essence, reveals our collective fear of truly confronting ourselves. For in genuine solitude, stripped of the constant distraction of social interaction or the validating responses of others, we are compelled to face essential questions. Who am I when no one is watching? What do I genuinely desire when there's no one left to impress? What truly matters to me when social rewards are entirely removed from the equation? The chosen man has grown comfortable with this profound inquiry. Like a flame that burns cleaner in pure oxygen, his sense of purpose and identity strengthens in solitude, undiluted by the expectations or judgments of others. He doesn't shun connection, rather, he has discovered that genuine connection can only truly happen between individuals who know themselves, those who enter relationships as complete beings, rather than as hungry ghosts perpetually seeking completion. American men are particularly conditioned to derive their identity from their social and professional roles: the good employee, the dependable husband, the fun buddy, the team player. Strip away these roles and many men experience a profound existential crisis. Who are they without their job title, without their relationship status, without their social position? The chosen man has confronted this crisis head-on and emerged with a profound realization: his essence precedes all roles and relationships. His inherent worth isn't determined by his utility to others or his position within any hierarchy. Think back to a moment in your life when you made a decision that perhaps confused or even disappointed others, but which felt profoundly right to you. Perhaps you turned down a prestigious job to pursue a passion, ended a relationship that looked perfect from the outside, or consciously stepped back from a friendship circle that no longer aligned with your deepest values. Can you recall how that moment of chosen aloneness ultimately led to greater authenticity? Share that significant turning point in the comments below. What Alan Watts would undoubtedly recognize in these chosen men who walk alone is not a rejection of connection, but rather a profound understanding of what true connection genuinely means. It represents the crucial difference between a wave that fears separation from other waves and a wave that has fully realized it is, in essence, the entire ocean. Consider the nature of water for a moment. A single drop contains the exact same essence as the entire ocean. Whether it falls as rain, flows as a river, or rises as mist, it never loses its fundamental nature. It merely changes form. The chosen man has realized he is both the drop and the ocean simultaneously. Unique in his individual expression, yet never truly separate from the vast whole. This profound understanding transforms solitude from a mere state of isolation into a powerful recognition of inherent wholeness. Like a tree standing alone on a hillside, its roots reach deep into the very earth that connects all living things. Its branches interact with the same sky. It may appear separate, yet it participates fully in the same grand system as the forest miles away. The American obsession with relentless busyness and constant connection, from endless Zoom meetings to pervasive social media engagement, reflects what Watts would describe as a fundamental confusion about the very nature of the self. We often believe we are isolated entities desperately reaching out to forge connections, when in reality, connection is our intrinsic, natural state. What truly blocks genuine connection is not a lack of social contact, but rather the illusion of separation meticulously maintained by the ego. The Taoist concept of Wu Wei, often translated as non-action or effortless action, applies perfectly here. The chosen man doesn't strain to forcibly find his place in the social world. He neither forces connections nor manipulates situations simply to avoid being alone. Instead, he allows his authentic nature to express itself organically, trusting that truly meaningful connections will naturally form when aligned with his true path. Much like a stream that doesn't force its way through rock, but effortlessly finds the path of least resistance. Take a moment now to simply feel your own existence as a singular expression of consciousness. Feel how your awareness is both uniquely yours and simultaneously an integral part of something far larger. This isn't mystical nonsense. It's a direct, tangible experience available to us when we cease identifying exclusively with our social roles and personas. The chosen man walks alone because he has tasted this profound experience of fundamental oneness and can no longer be satisfied with connections that operate solely at the level of personality or mutual utility. Much like a bird that has experienced the freedom of flight and can no longer be content merely hopping on the ground, he seeks relationships that honor the immense depth and breadth of existence. In American culture, we're broadly taught that loneliness is a problem to be solved through increased social interaction. Dating apps promise to end your isolation. Social media offers a facade of constant connection. Corporate team building exercises attempt to manufacture belonging. But what if meaningful connection isn't actually about the quantity of interaction, but rather the profound quality of presence? What if just one moment of genuine seeing and being seen is ultimately worth more than years of superficial socializing? The chosen man has discovered that the quality of his connections matters infinitely more than their sheer number. Much like a discerning gardener who focuses on nurturing a few precious plants rather than spreading thin attention across many, he invests deeply in relationships that reflect a mutual recognition of each other's essential nature. The flames of authentic connection burn brighter precisely because they are a rarity. Consider how a single candle stands out dramatically in darkness, whereas 1,000 lights in broad daylight often go entirely unnoticed. The chosen man would far rather experience a few profound moments of genuine connection than endure endless hours of what merely passes for socializing in our distracted culture. This perspective profoundly transforms how he experiences his apparent aloneness. The spaces between connections are no longer perceived as a lack or a void of loneliness, but rather as the essential background that imbues connection with meaning, just as silence gives meaning to music. Without the space surrounding the notes, music devolves into mere noise. Similarly, without solitude between connections, relationships often become an entanglement. Have you ever experienced a moment of profound awakening where you suddenly recognized the stark difference between true connection and mere social interaction? Perhaps it was at a crowded party when a single, authentic conversation stood out vividly from the small talk, or during a quiet walk with someone where words simply became unnecessary. Please share your experience of discovering deeper connection in the comments below. As we return to our original question, why chosen men walk alone, we can now perceive it with fresh eyes. These men aren't avoiding connection. Rather, they've discovered a far more profound way of relating to themselves and the world. They've ceased mistaking constant company for genuine communion. The integration of this wisdom into daily life doesn't imply rejecting society or embracing permanent isolation. Instead, it signifies bringing a new quality of presence to every interaction. It means moving through the social world much like a vast sky that allows clouds to pass through without clinging to them or being defined by their transient forms.
The American dream has traditionally emphasized external markers of success, the house in the suburbs, significant career achievements, and the picture-perfect family. However, these chosen men have awakened to an alternative dream, the profound possibility of being fully alive, completely themselves, in each and every moment. Their aloneness is not a rejection of life's rich banquet, but rather a conscious refusal to fill their plate with substance that doesn't genuinely nourish their true nature. Consider how remarkably differently such a man experiences social interactions. He doesn't enter a room hungry for validation or desperate to impress, nor does he leave feeling drained by the exhausting effort of maintaining a facade. Like a deep-rooted tree that can weather any storm, he remains centered within himself while genuinely engaging with others. His connections are chosen, not compulsive. They are deeply meaningful, not merely convenient. In practical terms,
this approach might manifest as fewer yet far deeper friendships. It could mean embracing comfortable silences with loved ones rather than nervous, incessant chatter. It might involve gracefully declining invitations to events that promise networking opportunities but offer little genuine human connection. Ultimately, it could mean building a career based purely on purpose rather than status, even if that particular path is less traveled and more solitary. The wisdom of Alan Watts powerfully reminds us that life isn't about accumulating experiences or relationships like trophies, but rather about the profound quality of our presence in each unfolding moment. The chosen man has learned to be fully present with himself first, a practice that paradoxically makes him far more genuinely available to others when authentic connection does occur. This profound approach to life offers a powerful antidote to the pervasive epidemic of loneliness in modern America. Despite our hyperconnectivity, true loneliness stems not from being alone, but from being unknown, even to ourselves. Men who constantly surround themselves with others, yet never reveal their authentic thoughts and feelings, experience a far deeper isolation than the man who walks alone but knows himself completely and intimately. The final synthesis, then, isn't about choosing between connection and solitude, but rather recognizing them as complementary, essential aspects of a balanced life. Much like inhalation and exhalation, both are utterly necessary. The chosen man moves rhythmically and harmoniously between them, drawing profound strength from solitude and expressing that strength through authentic connection. If there is indeed hope in this message, it lies in the understanding that your apparent aloneness may not be a problem requiring a solution, but rather a profound doorway to a more authentic existence. The path of the chosen man is by no means easy. American culture will persistently equate popularity with success. treat solitude with suspicion, and conflate fleeting social media connections with genuine relationships. Swimming against such a powerful current undeniably requires immense courage. However, much like water flowing naturally around obstacles, you need not struggle or fight against these societal pressures. Simply recognize them for what they are and continue steadfastly along your authentic path. Allow the expansive sky of your awareness to hold both the transient clouds of loneliness and the bright sunlight of connection, knowing that both are merely temporary weather patterns moving through your vast, boundless consciousness. The chosen man walks alone because he has, in the deepest sense, found his true home within himself. From this profound place of inner rootedness, he can extend genuine branches of connection that are offerings rather than desperate grasping.
Expressions rather than demanding needs. He has discovered what Alan Watts termed the wisdom of insecurity, the paradoxical truth that only by fully accepting our fundamental aloneness can we ever experience genuine belonging. Which of these insights resonated most deeply with you personally? Was it the powerful recognition of solitude as a source of strength rather than weakness? The critical distinction between superficial socializing and genuine heartfelt connection? Or perhaps the profound paradox that truly knowing yourself is the absolute prerequisite for genuinely knowing others? Please share your thoughts in the comments below and join this growing community of individuals exploring the intricate dance of solitude and connection.